Now, our next panel discussion is going to be talking about leaping forward and riding the digitalization wave. Now, digitalization will continue to gain momentum in upcoming years as technology evolves and new advancements are introduced. To take advantage of digital transformation opportunities and remain competitive, SMEs and organizations alike must create a pragmatic roadmap to take them from where they stand today. Joining me on screen right now, our moderator, Mr. Ganesh Kumar Bangah, the founder and executive chairman of commerce.asia. Hi, Ganesh.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning to you too.
Yes, I think that Peng is already on. I think from MRCA, we have Singh. Stan, maybe you can on your video. And Dato Michael Kang.
I on. Dato Ganesh.
Yeah,
hello.
Dato.
Hi Ganesh. I on already.
Hi Ganesh. Good morning.
Hi, good morning,
Hi Dato
everybody.
Morning.
Hi.
Morning. Morning, Dato
I like the fact how everybody's just wishing each other good morning, and I still have to introduce our panelists here. By the way, before we proceed, Mr. Ganesh, do you have a pair of earphones by any chance? Because the sound sounds a little bit dispersed and we can't exactly hear you very clearly. So for the sake of all our attendees here, if you could hook up a mic, that would be great.
Just give me a second. I don't have a earphone, but let me just adjust my...
Ganesh, by the way, my video is on, just to let you know. I have only my video.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay.
All right, in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the rest of our panelists here. We also have Dato Peng, the CEO of MDEC. Hi, Dato. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. Good to see you.
Super. Good to see you too. Have you had your breakfast already?
Yeah, in a way. Coffee, black coffee, start the day.
Oh, okay. So, like, if you notice from some of our previous events, our attendees were actually discussing whether the majority of the attendees, whether they drink coffee or tea. And apparently it turns out a majority of our attendees here drink coffee. So I guess you're one of them as well. You guys are watching. I guess you have another member in your group. Where are my tea drinkers at, right? We also have Datuk Michael Kang, the National President of SME Association of Malaysia. Hi, Dato.
Hi, morning.
Morning. I can't really see you clearly. By any chance,
because because of the background, I don't know why. You will see. Because
I think that Michael, you turn on your green screen. You should turn off your green screen.
Yeah.
Green screen.
Do you want to turn off your virtual background so we can see you properly?
Okay, let me try. Okay, the other
okay,
thing,
sure.
so you can continue to introduce. Then, congratulations, then, as your new elected SG.
Thank you very much, Dato. Thank you.
Wait. Let me do. You continue.
Congratulations, phenomenal job there. And of course, our final panelist here is Mr. Singh, the Secretary General of MRCA. Hello.
Hi, how are you? By the way, I didn't have coffee. I have tea. Normally, I have coffee outside.
Yes, I'm gonna. Okay, Stan, we're gonna have a virtual high five right now.
Right.
Yes, right on. I finally have a tea drinker with me. All right, super. So let's see. That's Michael. You are still blurry, but I guess that should be okay. For the rest of you guys in the attendees, if this is hindering you a little bit, let us know. If not, let's just try and bear with it because we really do need to move on. Now, Mr. Ganesh, you can start anytime you like. You have 30 minutes and please use up the last 10 minutes, 40 minutes in total actually. You have 30 minutes for your discussion and the last 10 minutes for your Q&A. So please feel free to answer your Q&A at any point, or if you'd like me to come in, just call for me and I'll be back here.
Sure. I think maybe we can start with the introduction from each of the panelists and their respective association. Maybe we can start with Dato Peng.
Sure. So MDEC is also the organizer of this digital summit. MDEC is a government-owned organization. Our key focus is to champion the digital economy in Malaysia, where we focus our resources on enabling digitally and digital talent in the country, enable the digital business, as well as encourage digital investment. So anything about digitalization is our interest because we believe that to help the country to move forward, we need to ensure that everyone, nobody is left behind, regardless of whether you're a business, you're an individual, you're a producer, or you're a user, you're all digital savvy, because that is the way forward. So that's a very brief introduction, Ganesh.
Sure. Dato' Michael? Do you want to introduce yourself, Dato' Michael?
Dato' Michael is muted.
Okay, thank you, Ganesh. I think, see, as a SME association, I think we will try our best, to encourage more SME to embark into digitalization. I think that's very important, as you can know that, majority of SME before MCO, they are still very traditional, and they did not really go into the online and all still on the daily operation on their convention business. I think this is the best time after the MCO, the best time to bring the SME, most of the SME to move into digitalization. I think it's very important. I think we hope that through this digital summit, I think we can able to help more SME into the digitization.
Sure. And Stan, on your end from MRCA, the newly appointed Secretary General of MRCA.
Thank you very much, Ganesh, for that intro. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. I think MRCA today has some in the region of about 515 members. It's a combination of all sizes of different retail formats, and of course, we have a combination of retail and F&B members as well. And what our intent right this year was to look at the last year programs. But last year we did about 160 programs, part programs to bring the level of awareness, the level of changing transformation into digitalization of their businesses and how we can take them forward. So there were a lot of awareness programs, education that was carried out. But this year our focus is very heavy on that to bring member value, how we can take the member to the next level. So there are a number of things that will be planned for this year, going to next year. So that will be my story at this juncture, since I'm just newly elected. So obviously I can't say a lot for time being, Ganesh. Yeah. But thank you for asking.
Sure, our pleasure, Stan. Now I think let's get to the crux of the questions, right? So why is SME digitalization important for Malaysia? How will it impact the digital economy? How can SMEs accelerate the momentum of the digital economy in Malaysia? Dato' Peng, you want to start?
Yeah, I think when we talk about the importance for the SME to digitalize, we have to look at why SME needs to be part of this. As we all know, 99% of Malaysian businesses are made out of SME. Dato' Michael Kang can come in and support me on this one. So it is important that we ensure SME play a central role in digitalizing their business, because it accounts for more than 60% of the employment, and also more than 1/3 of the contribution to GDP come from SME. From these 2 points alone, we need to ensure that SME continue to accelerate their growth. And in today's world, especially when we see the impact of the COVID and moving forward, digitalization is the key for SME's growth, apart from survival. And to drive the country's economy forward, we need to have a conducive environment, ensuring that businesses are using the digital technology effectively in growing their business. For instance, digital marketing, how they can use electronic payment. So for some of those, how are they using the analytics in order for them to know how to drive their business forward? So SME must digitalize. If SME does not digitalize, a large part of our economy will be impacted negatively.
So what about Dato' Michael? What's your opinion?
Yeah, I think I echo what the Dato' Peng mentioned. I think Malaysia, which is consists of more than 99% is SME in still is SME. I think they need to digitize. If not, you can see in Malaysia, as I mentioned, that Malaysia's most of the SME still very traditional. They always they still rely on a lot of laborers, foreign workers, labor-intensive industry. I think that this is a time for SME to build up their productivity and to embark into digitization. Without digitals, I think without using online or computerize or automate their products or move into the industry 4.0, I think SME will not able to complete within the region. We don't talk about the global market. I think so. SME is time for them to embark into the digitals, to use the technology for their businesses and to reduce the manpower, to increase their the competitiveness. This is very important for SME. I think we need to give more awareness to help the SME to move forward, to embark into digital, to reduce the manpower, to increase their productivity, to generate more income for them, yes, especially on the GDP contribution. Currently, we only 38%. You can see most of the developed countries, SMEs are 50 to 60% of GDP contribution. We hope with this summit, digital summit, we can help more SME to embark into digitals and contribute to the GDP to increase from current 38 to 50% by year 2030. I think this is very important. We hope with the MDEC support and all the industry leaders to help on the promotion and encourage get more the SME or the SME to use the digital, to use the technology and to move forward. Thank you.
Stan, from a retail angle?
Yes, I think if you look at, that's a great question, Ganesh. And if you look at from the World Economic Forum report, 60% of the global GDP impact will come from the digitalization of businesses. And okay, we are not far from there, and that's by 2022. And if you looked at the report that was published by Microsoft and IDC, just in end of 2018, 2019, they were saying that this is a $10 billion market if you were to put all the digital aspects into this perspective. So I think from that angle, if you look at from a home base, and if you look at from MRCA's perspective, one of our greatest challenges is how do we then bring this value of transformation into the foray of our members? Because most of our members are actually, I wouldn't say struggling, but there is a lack, there's a gap between how do I take the business forward? How do I use digital assets? How do I then grow my business? And of course, that has been a very slow pack in 2019. But I must say, Ganesh, that the COVID-19 impact has been a catalyst in some respect, bringing that change and that has expedited some thinking. Retailers are now thinking, online, offline. They are thinking how they can collaborate with other partners. And even in the area of competition, how they can put things together and make this a home run for them. So there are a lot of things that MRCA is looking at it from that angle to bring that transformation perspective into all our members. Our members are made up of SMEs as well, and some, of course, a mixture, and some are onesies and twosies. But nonetheless, they all mean business in this foray that they must digitize, because otherwise they'll be left behind. Because the neighbor down the road is going to be taking their business forward. Forget about competition in the region as well. I mean, that will be the starting point. So we are pushing that agenda, and we are trying to lift that gap up so that the members can benefit from, not only from the education perspective and knowledge perspective, but from the actual transformation perspective of their business. That will be my angle, Ganesh. Yeah.
Sure. I think in the age of synonyms and new terms coming out every day, I think one of the challenges that SMEs face is the lack of awareness on the new technologies, how to use the new technologies, the benefits of the new technologies. Sometimes there's confusion because technologies like us always come up with new technologies all the time, new terms to define the technologies that causes confusion among the SMEs, right? Now, how can we help the SMEs change their mindset? How can we help SMEs leverage on these new technologies as they come out quicker and faster? Maybe we start with Dato' Michael.
I think to start for the SME to start it faster, I think the most important, like you had to go through to rely on I always say, whatever any new policy or new initiative, to let private take the lead will be the faster way. You see, because when anything we want to roll it out, private will know what the industry want. We can work together with the authority or even the agency. Like recently, we worked very closely with the MDEC, see how we can work hand in hand to embark into the digital, to get the SME on board to come over and to help them to find a solution and depend on them, what kind of business, different cluster, we will come out a solution to help them to make them accept the digitize the technology to deploy all the business into the digital, to make sure their business in the digitals and able to use the technology to increase their productivity and also to reduce the manpower. And other than that, we also provide the trainings, because a lot of SME told us that they are also facing a problem talent. They don't have enough people, they don't have knowledgeable people to help them in digitization. So I think we also work closely with, not only with MDEC, we also currently we also work closely with HRDF, include plus SOXO. We have been registered, also participate as a trainings provider to help them to work with all the training providers and provide all the solution, include PCOM. I think we're also working with PCOM as well to help the SME to learn their stuff, to learn their digitization, how to help the company to accept, to roll out the technology and digitization.
Stan, what about from a retail angle again?
I think from a retail angle, Ganesh, you're quite right. That has been quite a bit of a challenge, because the buzzwords actually puts a lot of fear, if I may use that word, on people's mind, because they may not really understand what it is all about. And if you don't understand something, and for a businessman to implement that in his business, he's always thinking about cost, because to him that name becomes big. And I think as Dr. Michael just alluded to the fact, even the talent, he's going to be worrying about how that talent's going to support that initiative or that strategy going forward. So I think one of the things that MRCA is doing is, last year, and I mentioned that we had part programs which MRCA conducted, and the whole idea of that was education. And education also means awareness of how these terminologies could be broken down, how they can be translated into the business to understand that. And so this is where MRCA is playing its role to really break down those technological terms, but putting that into simpler formats so that a businessman can understand and make that decision.
Sure. What about Dato Peng?
I agree very much with both Dr. Michael and also Stan, and what you said, Ganesh, is about the mindset. I think a lot of the time when we tell people to go digitalization, number one, they don't understand what we are talking about. So the fear of unknown is very real. In order to help SME to start the digitalization journey, it is very important that we help them to remove the hurdle, either a perceived or real hurdle. So the hurdle, we all can group it into three. Number one is perhaps is cost, because maybe the perception that digitalization is very costly. So this is something we have to demystify. Secondly is about the know-how. Maybe I don't know enough, therefore I don't know what to do and how to start. Thirdly is about, I don't have anybody in my company to know how to do it. So there's almost like a non-starter. So what we need to do is, like, let's say we work together. MDEC work very closely with association like SME Association, like MRCA, to try to reach out to their members, to show them the roadmap, to show them how to do it. So under MDEC, we launched something called 100 Go Digital. What we do is we plot out the digitalization journey. How do you start? The first thing is actually to have a digital presence. We all do not know, but all of us have digital presence, including the SME. You may have an Instagram account, you have a Facebook account, you may use WhatsApp, you may use WeChat. These are all the first step of digitalization without people knowing it. And then after that, it may be for most of the SME in Malaysia, they're actually in retail business. We know that large part of that. Then you can start looking at selling something online. That's also a part of digitalization. So if you break it down into different steps, it's actually not something you cannot do. It's very easy. So we have to start from there. When I say easy, that's to start, but to fully capitalize on what digital can do to you, that means you have to start looking at future plan. Ultimately, it's running your business. So for SME out there, what we want to say is that the use digital as a tool to enable you to grow your business. You need to market. Maybe in the past, traditionally, you go to word of mouth, you go to traditional media. Now you go to a social media, you do digital marketing that allows you to reach more. In the past, you may have to buy the computer. I think these are the, of course, older people will know. Buy computer, buy server. Today, you subscribe to the cloud services. You know what? You can start with a few hundred to a few thousand in a year. So it's actually very reachable for anyone. Further to this is that government agencies, associations are all coming together to provide all kind of support. Even the technology service provider, they may give free service to start with, and you can try using something for 3 to 6 months to know how it will work. So if I may just take a little bit of time, I think for SME is like, look at the possibility of using a tool to help your business, but always have the objective in mind that what do I want to do? Am I going to reduce my costs? Am I going to reach out to more people? Do I want to improve my effectiveness, efficiency in doing my business? So 3 words. You have to think big because it's your business. You want to think about your business future, but you have to start small and start somewhere, meaning pick an area you want to improve, pick an area you want to impact and do something about it, but scale very fast. One thing good about digital solution is that it can help you to scale very fast. Like even though you want to go multiple country, multiple market, using a digital platform, it allows you to do that. So these are some of the things I want to share because okay, another thing that perhaps what we need to do is that look at your peers. When we launched our 100 Go Digital last year in Langkawi, we managed to get about 100 micro SMEs to come on board. A lot of that is actually about using digital payment system. And one of these companies later, I think she's going to be one of the panel, Terragil. They actually do satay, selling satay. So using technology, she managed to reach out to more market throughout the country and increase her revenue and productivity, double her productivity. Used to produce at 3,000 sticks, now she do 7,000 sticks in a day. So use technology where it can help your business to grow. That is what I would like to say here. Thank you.
Dato, you mentioned about breaking down the steps and then setting up a digital presence and cloud. What are the initiatives that MDEC has as Malaysia's key agency driving these initiatives? What are the initiatives and incentives that MDEC has to help SMEs in those sectors or in those areas that you talked about?
Okay. I'll list a few. Obviously, I would also encourage people to go to our website to check out more details. The first thing what we did was during the MCO, we realized that it's about survival of the SME. So we get together with industry player, we call that technology service provider. We launched something called SME Quick Win, SME Digital Quick Wins. It's actually about giving them a tool to do remote working from home or have a digital presence. So many of these industry players from, like from PCOM, from all the associations, they come together and offer tools, like remote working tools for free, at least for like first 6 months. And then later, the SME can choose to subscribe to the more comprehensive premium service plus others. So that's number one. Secondly, grant. We early this year, MDEC in partnership with the Bank Simpanan Nasional, as well as SME Bank, we have announced something called SME Business Digitalization Grant. As you know, it's a business matching grant up to 5,000. And when we first launched it, we have 5 vertical areas where SME can choose to subscribe. Beyond that, we are looking at 2 more, which is e-commerce and remote working, because we realize that these are 2 very popular verticals. We'll continue to look at tools that will benefit the SME by getting input from Dato Michael, from MRCA. So we hope that more people can come on board. We have today signed out more than 200 technology service providers. Many of them are rolling out packages. So apart from what government matching grant is providing, many of the TSP is also offering special incentive to help the SMEs to adopt digital technology. And we're continuously working on improving the process because Dato Michael, we talk about this. Some may find that it may be still difficult for them to apply. So we are making it easier and simpler as we get more feedback from others. There's something called Smart Automation Grant. We just launched it about six weeks ago. This is another matching grant. Just now I talked about SME digitalization grant. That's matching grant up to 5,000. For Smart Automation grant is up to 200,000. It's a matching grant to help companies who want to. This we call it outcome-based grant. We encourage the SME to look at where they want to improve. For instance, increase in revenue, saving in business costs, reduction in process time. Like you go to our website, you can find a lot more information. Now, for those who are interested in doing e-commerce, we have a platform called Go E-commerce, and we run a lot of programs. Now, Go E-commerce is a platform where you can learn how to do business online. You can also have some simple bookkeeping even for SME to use without any fees. So that is the first thing. After that, you can link up with your ecosystem players to know how best to run your business further. Now, related to the Go E-commerce platform, we have something called Iusahawan for more micro SME. We have a lot of success stories. Go to the YouTube channel and learn how other people, just like the SME out there, they can do it, you can do it. So we have also something called Pedas as Pusat E-Dagang Setempat. We just recently launched something called E-Berkat. These are all for the micro SME to help them with their financial system. So a lot of other things. Come to our website, you can learn a lot more, and we welcome any feedback. And I cannot skip this part about going for keep enhancing your know-how by subscribing to a lot of these free training programs that MDEC has helped to compile. And just now Dr. Michael talked about HRDF. Yes, we also work with HRDF as well.
Thank you, Dato.
Ganesh, I may add, if I could just add one point, very important point, if I could. You know that MRCA also organizes physical events for business to business in the Malaysian International Retail and Franchise Exhibitions. But this year, obviously, we can't have it. So what we have done is we're going to have an e-exhibition, which means we are still going to carry on bringing businesses, helping them on a B2B, and maybe extending that to B2C in the future as we move along. But that's part of the plan of how we can bring this into this foray as well to help our members. Yeah.
Sure. Stan, do you have any success stories you can talk about?
At this moment, I couldn't, to be honest, I couldn't really pinpoint any right now. Ganesh, I'm new, as you know, I just came about yesterday, but obviously there are stories that digitalization has helped some of my members, as I do here. But to be exact, I can't give you the facts and figures yet at this juncture. But
Dato Michael, as the champion for SMEs, what are the campaigns and programs that you have to push your members to take a digital leap?
Yes, we worked recently after the MCO. We worked quite a numbers of campaign with the MDEC, and also others include the TSP, which is already signed up with the MDEC. You know, we have come up a few numerous solutions in different industry to help to go and promote to all the SME with the same cluster. As I mentioned, we work out some cluster to help them on the digitization, especially like a lot of SMEs say that, you know, they have difficulty on the sales management, on wherever the salesman go out, they don't know how to manage. So recently we're working on the solution to help the SME, you know, to how to manage their sales, how to provide the incentive, and have become a teamwork group, and using digitization to make their business more become a self-management system. So it's like those kind of system, we hope that they can help the SME to skill up their businesses, especially when we talk about in the futures, whoever to skill up the business, you need the digitization. We talk about shared businesses, you know, share prosperity. I think this is very important for SME to embark in digital, so that the owner do not need to monitors every day, to have a meeting with the staff. You from the system, from the IT solution, or from the apps, they can know even the salesman, they know what to do. The production also know what kind of numbers they have been produced, what kind of sales turnover they have been bringing in the sales, and the owner the bosses just only using the WhatsApp apps can read the company performance. All these are, I think, this is the most very important. We have been helping quite a numbers of SME to embark in those kind of digitization. Other than that, I think we also have quite a numbers of solution we are working on, and like what the Peng has mentioned, that on the especially we get the feedback, quite a number of feedback, how the SME embark in digitals, the 5,000 grant to reduce the numbers of document when they submit on only 5,000, to speed up the SME to take out the government grant, especially 5,000 only, so that they can slowly make your company into the first step, especially on the online business. I think this is very important. Then other than that, then we talk about the how to computerize their businesses.
Sure. I think, Dato, you were coming out a lot in the press, whether online or offline, mainly offline during COVID-19.
Yes.
I think you were the champion of the SME during COVID-19.
Yes.
Do you think that COVID-19 was a wake-up call to SMEs? How do you think COVID-19 or the pandemic experience has changed or caused them to change their approach to digital?
Yeah, I think the COVID-19 pandemic really wake up all the SMEs. If those are even during this pandemic, when I'm on the Zoom, I will tell all the SME, if you don't digitize your business, I think you will definitely close down. If you still go on a traditional way of doing your business, if you don't embark into using technology, you don't use for online, or then I can foresee those SME will never able to survive for the next 2 years. Definitely, they were facing a lot of challenges. If like what Dato Peng mentioned, if you have a digital, you're using technology, you can scale up your company production, even include sales, or even moving in global business. I think it's very important, very easy. If you have an online system, you have a digital your business, digitize your businesses. So those in traditional, they're still using a lot of manpower. You see a lot of foreign workers. I think they were facing a big challenge. Like you can see the now pandemic, you can't bring in a lot of SME. Ask me, I have applied for foreign workers, have been paid levy, but I cannot bring in my worker, my production shut down. Like even with one of our members in Ipoh, he have 3 factory in coffee manufacturing. Currently 2 factories shut down because they don't have worker. So that is a problem in the face. If you can go for automation, then go for digitization, I think they won't face any issue.
Sure, thank you, Dato.
Okay.
I think, what about Dato Peng, from your experience from the government side, what have you seen in terms of SMEs? Have they changed the view after COVID? Have they come to you more? Are they applying for grants more? What's your experience?
The answer is yes. I think the interest level has increased and improved tremendously due to the impact of COVID-19. In the past, when we were trying to get people to come online, because I talk more in terms of the online business, e-commerce. Some of them, especially the more traditional ones, say, I can wait. I'm happy. I'm okay with my business. But during the MCO, they realized that they can't even have a single sale. They lost touch with the supplier. They lost touch with their customer. So this really hit them hard. Because you have to understand that for many of the micro SME, they cannot survive. They don't have business. They cannot survive more than 1 month. I know their saving can sustain them for that. So they realize how important it is. We have seen people who become very creative. They started small, of course, but later they realized the benefit of digitalization is start to moving to more areas. Just I started by saying that start small, but you think big and you scale very fast. So that is definitely something that we are seeing, and I would say that another thing that the SME has to start looking at is, when you do business, you have to understand where your consumer is. And we know that customer is changing the behavior. I'm sure many of you are like me. Even though I promote e-commerce, sometimes I also go to shop and buy things. But during this MCO, I realized that buying online is so easy. So now increasingly I'm doing that. So when you go to any shopping mall, you realize that people are not buying things there anymore. More people are buying online. So that means for business, you have to know where your customers are now. their world is where you have to go. If they want to go online, you have to be online. Because if you don't have presence, nobody is going to buy things from you. That's number one. Secondly, is that when you are talking about potential, you need to understand how to use a tool more effectively. Dato Michael talked about automation. That is for real. 4th IR is for real. It's impacting everyone. So traditional way of doing things is not going to help us to be competitive. Our business needs to improve. We need to transform our business. Transform in the way of how you operate. At the same time, it's also transform by looking at new opportunities. Because your product, your service offering may not be current anymore. It may allow you to sustain for the next 6 months to a year, but you have to look beyond how can you change differently. I think we talk a lot about retail and all. Another thing is professional services. So if let's say today you are not good in using the tool, the digital tool, people may not know. The professional space, like it can be legal service, it can be accounting service, financial service, advisory, education, all those also need to digitalize, not just about selling goods. Selling services is another way. So you have to tune your mindset. And for SME also, another thing I want to say is that you may not have the talent, but there are a lot of gig workers out there can help you. Go to a freelancer, start somewhere. This is really, really important. You want to do it, but you may not know how. So look out to people who can guide you how to do it. I'm sure all the people today in the panel, including Ganesh, have some way to help the SME out there.
Okay.
Thank you, Dato.
Ganesh, if I can add.
Stan, in your view, yeah. Go ahead, Stan.
Okay, I was saying to you, I just want to add to what Dr. Michael said earlier, and of course, that one thing. I think during to your point, I think it's a very, very important question that you brought, because the pandemic lockdown, you can't move, you need to escape. So where MRCA came in, Ganesh, was to look at all the business touch points in the ecosystem. For example, the inventory that are stuck, the supplies that we can't connect, the customers you can't reach out, for example, how you deliver your service from an F&B perspective. So all that came into perspective for us, how we brought that and opened that up so we can talk to our members and tell them basically how we help them and how we can say that this is the way forward. Because for that reason, the deep seminars were conducted, the education seminars were conducted so they can come forward and take advantage of the situation. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Your question was.
Ganesh, actually, just to jump right in here, we're running short on time. So if you could just go to the Q&A very quickly, that'd be great.
Sure. I think we've got one. I've got one. I saw one question from the audience. We'll do one question, then I'll do a summary. I think this was for Dato Peng. Cyber security, what is your view on that? Are there, for example, I think the question was how is the cyber security view in terms of the different business digitalization grants that MDEC has, and how do you view cybersecurity in the whole big picture of things?
Yeah, in the digital world, cybersecurity definitely is a key area that we have to pay attention. Two things. Number one, MDEC is actually working with SME Corp to push a program to help SME to use a digital platform in a safer environment. So this is about helping them to adopt some cybersecurity solution. We are also continuously looking at the need to include cybersecurity as part of the future plan in the SME digitalization grant. So this is something that's still work in progress. But one thing you have to understand also that even though cybersecurity, the word is not mentioned in, but most of the TSP who are offering solution, they already have their cybersecurity as part of the way to secure the use. And one thing that SME out there must understand is that if you're subscribing to some solution that's on the cloud, we call it software as a service, many of those are already having the security feature embedded. So on that note, most of the services they're using, you can be quite certain that they are protected. Yeah, but and cybersecurity is an area that we need to continue to create more awareness. For instance, sometimes it's not just about the technology side; it's the people. You do not know how to, let's say, secure your password. You share your login account. A lot of the time, the leakages is actually caused by human. It's not actually the system, because most solution, when they build it, they already have a lot of security feature incorporated. It's how you use the system that you have to be more careful. That's why we need to create more awareness and teaching people on how to secure the data and secure their access.
Sure. Thank you, Dato. Maybe I can just do a summary as I see Laureen looking at us very attentively, asking us to finish this panel. Talk about letting the private sector lead. He talked about how associations help in terms of talent empowerment, education, and awareness. Dato' Peng talked about removing the hurdles. And what are the hurdles? The hurdles are cost. The hurdles are know-how. The hurdles are talent. You need somebody to do it for you. And breaking down the steps to small steps. For example, digital presence, whether it's an Instagram account, Facebook account, website, looking at cloud services that you can subscribe. The association, both MRCA and SME Association, I believe, have been actively promoting technology. They've got different events. MRCA has the B2B event. Of course, Dato' Kang talked about promoting TSPs. Of course, when it comes to retail, some of the things that have been coming up, especially in light of COVID, of course, the business touch points delivery is one that I think has been really transformed over the COVID pandemic. And also, I saw a lot of questions in the audience. Actually, I just saw 3 or 4 questions come in the last 5 minutes, asking Dato' Peng for help. Not much money available, how to do this. So, I think since we're running out of time, I won't pass it to Dato' Peng because I don't think MDEC is all about grants or money. I think they have websites and they have know-how. We can go to the website that Dato' Peng talked about to actually see the different kind of incentives, whether in terms of knowledge, know-how, or funding that's available. And so I think the best thing to do is go to the website. Am I right, Dato' Peng?
Yes, thank you, Ganesh. So that's the right way.
And finally, start small, start somewhere. We have to start today so that we can be ready for the future. Thank you, Laureen. Hopefully, we didn't take too much extra time.
It's okay, just a little overtime, but that's fine. Dato' Eng, Dato' Michael, and Stan, we actually have some questions directed at you guys in the Q&A, so you could answer that at your own time. Once this panel has ended, that will be wonderful. And I'd like to thank Ganesh on a marvelous job for being our moderator today. And Ganesh, a little birdie just told us that it's your birthday today.
Not today, not today.
Not today?
No, this month.
Not today, not today.
Okay, so it's this week lah.
Next week.
Next week.
Oh, okay. Well, happy birthday in advance then. From all of us here at MDEC, I would like to thank all of you for joining us here at the SME Digital Summit 2020. It's been such a joy and a pleasure, and most importantly, a privilege to talk to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much. We hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.